Welcome back, everyone. We've made it to episode 123 of Lesser Known Operators. Got the mic in hand today. We'll see how things go. Anyway, today's guest, Paul Ross, 3rd Special Forces Group, 275 before that, maybe a little Best Ranger mixed in. He is the owner of Deadline Defense. I'll have links to their socials in the show description. Next generation suppressor technology, Pew accessory built for no-fail missions, designed by shooters, not boardrooms. In addition to his suppressor company, Deadline Defense, he is a full-time cattle rancher, Carthage Cattle Company in the greater Fayetteville area. So I'll have links, as I said, to his businesses in the show description. As always, today's episode is brought to you by the Precision Wellness Group and Dr. Taylor Bosley. Precision Wellness Group helps you restore balance, unlock vitality, and fuel your momentum through bioidentical hormone therapy and evidence-based, personalized telemedicine. Dr. Taylor Bosley is a board-certified physician, a U.S. Army veteran, and former Green Beret. He knows where you've been, where you want to go, and how to get you there. He's an actual doctor. So if TRT, HRT, hormones, testosterone, peptides, GLP-1s, aesthetics are something you've been looking into for a while or just starting to, look no further than Precision Wellness Group and Dr. Taylor Bosley. In Southern Pines, North Carolina, walk in person, telemedicine. Use code LKO20 on your consultation paperwork to save 20% on said consultation costs. I messed that one up. I do appreciate you guys. Please remember to like, subscribe, share, comment, pass these episodes along. I appreciate you guys. Thank you for listening. Enjoy the show. Paul Ross, welcome to Lesser Known Operators, man. Thanks for coming on.
Thanks for having me, dude.
Absolutely. I love a good message. I think from Instagram. Didn't you say was it on Instagram? Like, hey, can I come on your show? And I'm always so like, as I look back on it, I'm always kind of so rude. I just go, yeah. And that was it. I just kind of don't even have a conversation and people think I'm going to ask them a bunch of questions. And I just go, yeah. And then I send you a link and you sign up and then I go on about my life. And then here we are today.
I mean, it is what it is, right? Like it's good for business and it's good for getting the message out there. But I dig the show, and I know a lot of the guys from the back in the day sure do.
Thank you. It's interesting to some of the people that were either like my cadre or I served with. They're like, I listened to your show. I was like, oh, that's so cool. Thank you. I appreciate that. I'm always being assessed now, plug back into the community. You're always being assessed. So I gotta watch what I say. I gotta make the jokes, super offensive, but still family friendly in a potent sort of way. But it's fun, man.
We're in a world of feelings now.
Whatever, man, whatever. It's everybody's got their opinion, and now everybody has the ability to voice that opinion in whatever modality they want. If they want to say some ridiculous shit, and that's the way this thing is built, social media and the podcast, the more ridiculous your statement and kind of the more untrue it is, the farther it'll go. So if you're riding that line, you can get more reach by just saying whatever the fuck you want, and people will be like angered by it, or they'll support it, and that'll just push it further and further. So it's hard to have a positive message when you're trying to kind of tell the truth and things like that, and not upset anybody, but it's a lot more enjoyable. I feel better about it anyway. So
yeah, I mean, I think people get their feelings hurt. I think there's always some scale of exaggeration, especially when it's due to make their money off their story. And I think it just sucks because the truth is, at least of the guys that I know that have exaggerated their stories on shows, man, like their true story is already pretty badass as it is. There was no need to get outside of the lines with it.
Yeah. There's you tell a story so many times and it changes and morphs, and the crowd that you're telling it to, and you want to get engagement and things like that. Whatever. It's easy for me. I have no stories. I did nothing. There's nothing to embellish. It's like, Nick, what'd you do? Well, I graduated and then I got to my team and I got hurt. So I had some wild nights out in Korea, in Seoul, where I was drinking soju and partying
Sipping on
with
that soju.
expats. Like, yeah, some times where things got a little fuzzy, but there's no deployment story, no war stories, no hero or anything like that. But I do get to talk to a lot of those people that get cool stories and things, and that's fun too, because we have a problem talking about ourselves. I'm a big negative proponent of the quiet professional, but nobody ever wants to find out why I'm that. They just say that's dumb, or they agree with me because they understand where I'm coming from. I am no longer a quiet professional. I'm out. If you're on a team, you need to, maintain a level of shutting the fuck up. But I'm an ambassador for special forces, for special operations. Like, if I need to be saying, "Hey, this thing we did was fucking cool." And, if you're like me, you can have a great experience as well, maybe without the concussions. But you need people speaking highly of the things that you did instead of one. My buddy came on the show. He goes, "Man, I took that quiet professional thing a little too far. I have no fucking pictures. I have no contacts in my phone. I have nothing. I have nothing." And I go, "Man, that kind of
Sucks.
sucks." And he's got severe TBI, and he's like, "Man, I really wish I just had anything." And I go, "Yeah, that's too far. That's too far on the side of things." But that's what it was, especially in the 2020, 2005 through 2020, in the transition into technology era.
Yeah, it's I'm a believer in quiet professionals for the cause, right? Like you should, to your point, if you're on a team, if you're active duty, if you're working, you should be keeping your mouth shut, right? Like I'm not a fan of dudes going to and from work and to kids' ball games and hopping on airplanes in uniform. But the flip side of that is, and I talk about this with a lot of dudes. I was very fortunate. I contracted on a pretty cool program after I retired for a few years. And it was a mix of us and some SEALs and some Rangers. And one of the things that I really noticed, and we bag on SEALs all the time for having nice hair and writing their books and their movies and stuff, but they do a fantastic job of taking care of each other. They will squabble and talk trash nonstop inside the room. But to the outward facing public, they are very good about taking care of their own, and they have their chats where it's, hey, hook so and so up with this job, or this guy's looking for work. Whereas with SF guys in the regiment, we don't really talk to each other once we leave. Those that do are notorious for just bad mouthing each other. And then there's the far side of the coin where dudes make the regiment look bad. And I think it's okay to be concerned about doing that. But if all the public ever sees are guys that make the regiment look bad, and they don't hear the stories of some of those really awesome, amazing guys that weren't just great dudes on a team, but were also got out and did great things for the world, then the regiment suffers.
Yeah. Yeah. In the modern social media era, if nobody knows who you are, you might as well not exist.
Yeah.
And as shitty as it is, there is a line though, no good, no bad press is, or no press is bad press. So a lot of that's only to us, but it still is gets you out there. But if nothing good is coming out, then that is detrimental to recruiting, to the image, to the way things will go in the future. But no, SEALs, they do a good job from what I'm told, taking care of one another. They the Marines were the first to recognize the advantages of marketing themselves.
Yeah.
Every Marine, they're a Marine forever. They've got billboards. They got great commercials. They got a guy chopping down a lava monster with a giant sword and sticking it in the earth. So
Yeah, and their mentality from the get-go is different. And the Marines do there's some good and some bad, right? Like they are for the Army, the Army's lucky to have you. We have a million jobs in the Army. One of these is for you, and we're so thankful for your service, and we're so thankful you're here. Whereas the Marines are like, hey man, you're lucky to be a Marine. You don't even deserve to be here. You should be proud that you're even allowed to correspond with us. And like that, it works great. It works awesome. But they also take the we do less with more to such an extreme where it's like Marines are so woefully undermanned, undersupplied, and underutilized. It's like you kind of just you had a great thing going and then you just kind of killed yourself. Because they do have phenomenal discipline, do have Marines as a whole are on top of it. They're not supplied and trained as good as they could be. They're not financed as well as they could be.
No, no, and that's one of my lessons learned from 2025 was if you want to get free engagement on your content on social media, just bring up the US Army Rangers, and the Marines will point out in the comment section how much better they are than Rangers with much shittier equipment and funding and intelligence and training and all these other things, but they are that much better. It's quite hilarious to go
Yeah,
read through some of these, and it's like a race. And you're right. You're right. It was a race to see who had the shittiest equipment to still be better than the Rangers. And I'm like, some of these things are pretty. This sounds awful. Like you guys, how did you guys even get to the
like
range of what these?
yeah, like that's not cool. Man. So you spent the whole day walking there and walking back, whereas yeah, Rangers are well funded. They went there, they trained hard. They got in some extra training because they had the time. They came back and they got in more training that night.
Yeah, yeah, we got a since you were a ranger, I have a clickbait question at the end. That's
Fair
on
enough.
because it's one of the core lessons at lesser known operators. If you want, you got to start that debate. You'll get both sides in there about who's better and what for what reason. And at the end of the year, we'll make a montage like we did last year. But no, Marines are great with because every Marine is a rifleman. Every Marine's a Marine for the rest of their life. That's an ambassador for the Marines for the rest of time. They've created somebody that's going to be like, I was a Marine, so you should be a Marine too. And it's discipline and it's like
Absolutely.
that. Wonderful. And similar kind of mentality is the Rangers, except except every ranger gets kicked out of battalion eventually, unless you make regimental sergeant major. Every single one of them gets kicked out.
That is a fair point. I think everybody either gets kicked out or leaves. Because I know some phenomenal Rangers that have left, right? They may go to the unit, they may go to SF, they may go do other things. But I think like as a whole, it's more broadly applied to the Army. Nobody finishes the Army with the job they love, right? Like you either didn't get the promotion you wanted, the job you picked, or you got sick of the job you got and you're like, hey, I'm done.
Yeah, if you're any good, it usually ends with you at a desk. Because if you're too good on the team, you get make 8 pretty quick, and then once you make 8, then it's
It's over.
over.
You're on the clock, your team starting time's up, and that's that.
Yeah, yeah. Even at the lower ranks in the regular army, if you can manage yourself well and they see that quickly, well, you're going to get 2 soldiers pretty quick, and then you're doing counselings and statements because those 2 soldiers they give you are going to be really not great.
Oh,
The
yeah.
new guy, the corporal or the E5, he's going to get soldiers and they're going to be not really top notch. And you got to bring them up. And if you do a good job doing that, oh, you're going to make 6 in like 4 years, right? Or however, whatever the time is for that. And that's you're almost going to be tied to a desk at that point. If you're not on a line unit. Oof. So yeah,
And you pick up
the,
a good dude will pick up his 7 right at 7 years. And
yeah,
then from there it
yeah.
splits. You haul it out till you get your own team as a team start, or especially like it within SF, we'll have a ton of dudes. And I know I'll get all the hate in the world for saying this, but a ton of dudes will just become warrant officers. And that's its whole other montage of problems.
It is, but the creation of the 180 Alpha has again some of these other things that were like, oh, that program or that. The 18 X-ray program is keeping special forces alive right now, And the 180 Alpha program creation is the only reason we had team leaders for half of the teams in the late 2010s. Like I remember there was 2 times where they're like, "Oh yeah, half the teams in the companies are led by 180s." And I go, how the fuck did we let this happen? Like, what do you mean they're led by 180s? We don't have enough 18 alphas? Oh, well, we had a surplus, and then we pushed them all through their team time as fast as we could, and then we ran out. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah. There's, I mean, there's a good, everything is good in moderation. Too many, too many warrants, too many 180 alphas creates its own problem. Especially when a dude's had 1 or 2 deployments and he's like, now I'm ready. It's like, no, you're not. Yeah. And it sucks, right? Because for all the bad examples that come to mind, there's a Chris, there's a Chad, there are warrant officers that I look at and I'm like, I would, even as dudes that have retired, I still want to be like that guy. And then but you can go down the line with any of it, right? Like there's enlisted leaders that are terrible. And there's enlisted leaders like, I mean, I wish I could be like that guy. There are officers that were great officers on a team and terrible human beings after a team. And the converse, there were officers who were not the most stellar team leader, but as a dude in the public, like they're the guys doing the most for guys still on teams.
Serving your country honorably does not require you to be a good person at all. And that is not just because you have a Green Beret does not mean, what did I say the other day? Just because you have a Green Beret doesn't mean you are one as well. But it doesn't require you to be a good person or have good morals. It just requires you to do the job. Now, to be have a good reputation going into retirement and um, a support system and things like that, you're kind of need have had those good relationships in the service for people to give
Sure.
a shit about you when you get out. And some guys didn't have that, and they get out and they really struggle or they isolate themselves. So everybody's got their own path and all the decisions that led them to this point and the things that make them how they are. I, and you're on this side of retirement now too. I can just kind of draw that line and go, as long as somebody's nice to me on this side of retirement, I really don't give a fuck what you did in the service, because this is a whole
Yeah.
set of problems now to deal with. PTSD, we've got operator syndrome now, we've got, a suicide epidemic, which is not starting the year off very well. So, I kind of push all that aside, and I just go, hey, let's work, deal with the now. When people message me about some of the people I associate, I go with, hey man, why don't you call that person? Because I don't give a fuck. You should really call that person and complain to them about the things that you have wrong
100%.
with them.
And listen, I'm a big proponent of morals. I'm a big proponent of loyalty, but let's not get carried away on that high horse, because everybody is going to make a mistake. Right. And it's what I don't like. And I think you see a lot more of it once you're out and you're kind of looking in the rear view, or talking to your buddies that are out, is a guy will make a mistake, whether it's a moral mistake, a business mistake, a friendship mistake. Hell, I've made probably more terrible mistakes than most human beings, right? Like, I'm not in any way saying I'm better, but what you'll see is 2 groups of people when that happens. There's one group who's like, nope, fuck him, want nothing to do with him. And to me, that's not acceptable. There's the other group who's like, hey man, I'm going to sit you down. You're not going to like what I have to say, but we're not going to desert you because you made just this one mistake. Or even like guys with a drinking problem, guys with home life problems, right? Like, I'm not going to abandon you. I'm going to sit here with you and you're going to hear how much I disagree with your decisions. To me, that's always kind of been one of the things where I'm like, let's be careful when we start judging people, because eventually you're going to be the guy on the chopping block that, what do we always say on a team? When you fuck up, just keep your nose clean. Eventually somebody else will fuck up and you'll be okay.
Sergeant Major said that one night, we were there till God, it was so late because and I saw him walk in there, the team sergeant and the team leader walked into the commander's office Friday night at like 4:30. We're all intoxicated already. It's all like nobody we didn't have anywhere to be. We're coming up on going on rotation to Korea. And they walk in there, and then the commander comes out and goes, lock down the company. And I go, oh, fuck. And, this went all night and we're searching for this fucking item, right? And it was where it was supposed to be. It was just like one shelf over. And where they didn't check this shelf, they checked this shelf where it was supposed to be, and it was right here. Anyway, all night. And after we got done, I'm sitting there with Sergeant Major, and he goes, yeah, he's the biggest douchebag in the company, but all he's got to do is just wait until somebody else fucks up, and then he'll be fine, and everybody will forget about the time they were here, and he'll be back part of the brotherhood again. And I always thought about that. I go, how many times have you seen dudes fuck up? Jesus, to have that perspective to just go, it'll be okay. He fucked up, but it's not that big of a deal.
I mean, whether you're sergeant major, first sergeant, team sergeant, you see it so much where it's like, hey man, we hold ourselves to such an incredibly high standard with zero tolerance for getting it wrong,
Yeah.
that the standard is truly impossible. Hey man, you have a problem at home and it's affecting your work. Do you think you're going to run your whole life without ever having a guy that had a problem at work? That doesn't make sense. Um, and I think guys, so if you start putting it together, right? Like guys get out of the army because there was something wrong. Whether they didn't like the job, they didn't get the job they wanted, they had a fundamental disagreement in values. And then they kind of get out of the army and they're searching for that purpose. And I'm a huge believer that a guy that doesn't have a purpose when he gets out is the guy that's going to commit suicide, right? He's chasing that high, he's chasing that brotherhood, and suddenly that brotherhood's not there for him anymore. And he's going to feel alone, he's going to feel lost, and he's going to make some bad decisions. And what does the brotherhood do when he makes bad decisions and he's already down? Fuck it, we kick him again and again and again.
Some of that's self-inflicted. That's looking in the wrong spot because we get out and we leave the team room, and what do we know? We know the team room. We don't know the dudes in retirement. And you went through this, and it's a tough way to put it into words, right? There is nothing that you can tell somebody while they're still in uniform, while they're going to work every day, while they're legally required to hang out with all of their friends and support system, and that becomes your family. And then when that is no longer a thing, there is nothing somebody that's retired or that's out can say to that person that will make them understand the transition that they're going to go through, because it's different for everybody and it fucking
Yeah.
sucks. There's no TAP program that can prepare you. There's no, well, actually, there is. Having your own team or joining somebody else's team on the outside, that'll really help you if you can do that. If you can realize, hey, I need to jump from one team to the other. It's just like alcoholism for me. I just jumped from one addiction in the bottle to another addiction in the gym. And it shows I'm fucking got a problem, but at least that's a much healthier version. So when the guys get out, they look back to their buddies that are still in the team room, and they're not going to be there for them. It's not possible. They still have to go to work every day. They didn't change their situation. You did. You left, and now you're off in the real world, and the real world fucking sucks. That's why we hang out in the team room so much.
Yeah, the real world is brutal. And you go into business with dudes who you think you think they get it because you want them to get it, right? Whether it's the loyalty, it's the attitude, it's the investment into what we're building together. And togetherness means something to a team guy that it doesn't necessarily mean to a normie. And kind of the cool part about fucking up in the real world though is that when you get punished, like you'll lose your job. That's what happens in the role. When you fuck up in the army, like you got to leave your team for 6 months to a year and go be on the B team. Might have to, if you really fuck up, you might have to go be on battalion staff for a year
Or the armor. Yeah.
or the armor, whatever it may be. But you're always going to come back to the team. When you fuck up in the real world, man, you lose your job, you are cut off, you are excommunicado. And if you embrace that, I'll speak for myself on this. So embracing that and realize, taking accountability, like, hey, here's the mistakes I made. Here's the things I should have done better. I can be mad that these circumstances happened, but I was the catalyst. And now I'm going to take those lessons. And when I do my next job or start my next business, I'm not going to make those mistakes again. I'm not going to choose some shortcuts that I chose. And I think what happened specifically for me, I was super fortunate with Deadline Defense. I had a
What's
former
Deadline
team.
Defense?
So Deadline Defense is a suppressor manufacturer that I started with two of my buddies who were both third group guys. So two third group guys and a seventh group guy. And we have a investor and business coach. I have a very good friend of mine, former teammate, got out of the army and was wildly successful in business. And he and I started, like, we kind of reconnected a few years back and really started with talking about the Bible and scripture and then comparing business notes and working through um problem sets together and holding each other accountable for um not just poor decisions, but when you make a good decision, because we're our own worst critics, like, we don't give ourselves credit. And having that dude who's like, no, you need to recognize that you did really good here and that, we're proud of you. Dave was that guy for me. And when I decided I wanted to go out and start my own company or series of companies, Dave was in a position where he's like, hey man, I'm really going to help you. And so he put up a little bit of capital up front. And what ended up transpiring is I didn't just have an investor that was like, hey, here's some capital, go. I had a guy who was like, hey man, here's some pitfalls that are coming up, or I could go to and be like, hey, here's what I see on the horizon, and not feel judged because this dude was also a former teammate, hell, who honestly probably knows me better than my wife or a few others. And this group of four dudes has created this company. And so to talk about it's kind of weird because I guess most people don't get it, but at Deadline Defense, we chased the perfect gas system for suppressors. That was our goal. It wasn't to have the lightest can out there, the cheapest can, or the quietest can. It was to have the perfect gas system run through a can so that the shooter didn't have blowback in his face, but it had enough gas. It was flow through gas, but enough of it to keep the gun circulating or operating no matter the circumstances. Should make sense to you because you've shot with suppressed guns before. What we ended up with was a K-can configuration, which are like the short, small cans. And it ended up being super light, super short. And because the gas was the way it was, today, we have the quietest K-cans on the market. But that would have never been successful if it hadn't been a couple of like-minded dudes that were sharing a purpose that wasn't just, oh, well, I want to be successful and I want to go on podcasts. It was, hey, we're going to create
podcasts are gay, aren't they?
Podcasts are great. I mean, it's the modern media, right? I truly believe podcasts are the modern media. It's the place where you get out and actually tell your story and report the world as you see it without somebody with big money telling you what you can and can't say. But so it's a long story to get to. We had a buddy who was out of the army, just kind of floundering, didn't really know what he was going to do with his life. And I'm like, hey man, we need help with assembly. Like, we're woefully behind. And Pat was like, hey, like, I'll come do that. Come help you out. And this guy who was kind of down, kind of really quiet to himself, comes out of his shell completely. And he's like, hey, I'm really interested in coding. So I'm learning about these different coding techniques. And he gets himself sent off to Cerakote school and DLC training, which are different code, and comes up with a way to coat our cans so they're super easy to clean and they don't have the carbon buildup that normal K cans or flow through cans would have. And so when we talk about like a guy needing purpose, that dude is the lifeblood of Deadline Defense. Like he's the lifeblood of the company. I shudder to think what would have happened if that opportunity hadn't found him and we hadn't gained him. But it's guys got to look out for the bros when they're outside of the army.
It's our responsibility, once you have your shit figured out, to turn around and give a handout to the guys behind you, because nobody else is going to do it. The VA has its programs, but nobody's going to take the time to figure that stuff out with the VA. And the VA is very proactive. You have to want to get help from the VA, and you have to
Right.
go seek it out. Whereas we're just not going to do that.
We don't ask for help. We're not the ask for help people. And I don't think it's even, I don't think you could even say it's a hand out, is a hand up. Hey man, when you
Yeah.
start climbing that ladder of success, reach back there and pull the next guy up.
Did I say hand out? I meant hand up. Yeah. You reach back and hand
reach
up.
back there. When that dude up above you falls, don't kick him. Fucking reach down there and help him back up. You know, that's everybody rises together is the way it should be.
Fuck yeah. And being, wildly successful when you get out too, and being secure in your finances, that's helpful too, because getting out and not having any money kind of fucking sucks. And
It does.
I sympathize with the alcohol and the problems when you get out as well, because you get on that's the easy button. You don't have to worry about it for the rest of the day and kind of just fade off and deal with things tomorrow. But you're not going to deal with things tomorrow because you're just going to put it off. And then the booze starts talking to you and you start, believing things that aren't true, and everything's fine. Well, maybe it's not fine. It'll be fine for a little while, but not for very long.
This is happiness. This is the happiest I've ever been. It's not.
Yeah.
And it's my hat's off to you. My hat's off to one of the partners at Deadline, Johnny. He's dry, has been for a long, long time. It's not easy, but God, it's good for you.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, as I said, you got to kind of, I believe, if you're going to stick with it and you're going to make it work, you got to replace it with something else. We are very addictive personalities.
Yes.
And our fitness in regiment was what held us to another higher standard. And I just got back into that because I was always pretty fit and pretty strong. And now I've pushed that almost as far as I can get. And now I'm joined another Green Berets business. So today will be the first day I'm going on their program to see how far I can actually push things. I've got some crazy goals for this year to try and hit. And I wouldn't say I've gotten as far as I'm going to get by myself, but maybe a little more structure will do me good. We'll see. So it's going to be a big year
awesome,
for
man.
fitness.
Congratulations.
Here at Lesser. Thank you. Yeah, it's interesting. We GBs, anybody special operations, we've generally in those sorts of roles have probably been good at a lot of things for our entire lives. You step into something and you kind of just pick it up and you're able to, I can throw a baseball, I can swing a bat, I can just get on the golf course and hit the ball and pick it up after a few holes and things like that. And, start taking apart the lawnmower and fix the lawnmower. You got good general technical skills and you're able to learn things pretty quickly. And we just have to get back in transition into the civilian world and do that. If you just, God, you've been good at so many things in your lives. If you just apply yourself to whatever you want to do on the outside, you're probably going to be better than almost everybody else at that as well. And we kind of lose that belief in ourselves, even in the military, though. We lose that belief in ourselves because, as you said earlier, there's no consequences to not being good at something. Even though you're better than everybody else, you're surrounded by a whole group of people that are the same way. So it's this weird environment and group. Everybody's a GB. You're not special, but not being able to be fired, like truly, truly fired, I think does something to your psyche or something like that to where when you get out, it's not the same. I don't know if do you understand what I'm trying to say?
Do. And I talked to one of the best, hell, I wouldn't even say one of, the best commander I ever worked for was Colonel Carlton at 7th Group. And as I was retiring, we went and had lunch. And he's that dude, man, like he doesn't care who you are. He's going to make time for you if you want to talk or seek out some counseling mentoring. And so we went and had lunch and he's like, hey man, he said, one of the reasons or ways that we make you superhuman is your absolute downfall as well. So we convince you that you are superhuman and you are capable of making the mission happen no matter what. It's like, that is how you're able to go do these things. So the training pipeline is just a pipeline to show you and prove to you that you are the superhuman we're pumping you up to believe you are. Now, the problem is that the day you leave and you don't have your tribe anymore and you're thrust into this world where most people are mediocre, you realize you're not a superhuman. You realize that, mediocrity is around all over. And while it may not apply to you, you're not who you once were. And guys have a hard time, rightfully so, adjusting to that because that's when your vices take hold, right? Whether it's booze, women, fast cars, fast motorcycles, whatever it is, your vice is probably going to take hold during that time period. And it happens to the best of us. And you need that guy that you can go to and be like, hey, dude, you're still you. We're still here. It's just a different mission now.
Yeah, the person didn't go away. Mine just went, to sleep for several years, 6 years, and it's back. What a waste, But all the times you're struggling is when you're building towards something. And now I'm like, man, we just got to keep it on the upward trend and not get comfortable because I see it now. I'm thinking clearly and I'm processing my thoughts, and I'm also not getting God forbid, hit in the head anymore at a consistent rate in the military every 6 to 12 or 6 to 18 months, whatever the gap was, every around a year. And so that helps as well, sleeping, eating. And I'm back. Now it's like, what can we do? What can we do to stand out? Well, I can build my brand here as fast as I can. I can be good at this. I can help other people with their issues and hopefully connect people and things like that. But I have a responsibility to myself to be as good as I possibly can. And right now, for me, it's the physical and the strength and fitness and things like that. But you forget, that you're a fucking Green Beret, that you're a Navy SEAL, you're a Ranger, that you did all these hard things. You forget that, God, that shit's really hard because it's really easy when you're doing it, right? You just go fucking do it. Like, oh, fuck. Oh, what do we got to do today? We're doing battle drill 1 alpha, and then we're going to get the shit smoked out of us and then react to contact. And we're going to break contact. And then it's just a normal day in training. And you're just sucking. But you're sucking with your friends. It's all
Right.
normal.
Right. And it's so funny, right? Because when you are sucking with your friends, you're having a blast, right? How many beers did you pop after that terrible training mission where you're like, oh, and we're laughing, wrapping our bloody feet or stitching up a guy in the team room. And it's like, oh, that sucked so bad. Here, have another shot. We laugh all the time. And it's like what we were able to create inside the team room doesn't, it doesn't have to stop there. We did the same thing with Deadline Defense. All of us had previous business experiences. And just like when you're in team life, you're like, I learned something from that game. It may be what you don't want to be. I've learned certainly from Army leadership, what I didn't want to be. I've certainly learned from guys that I've worked for in the civilian sector, exactly who I don't ever want to be. But I've also learned from guys on the team who I do want to be. Like maybe I need to be more present as a dad. Maybe I need to be better equipped in my faith. And maybe I need to be not so fast to get arrogant or angry when things aren't going my way. And when you take assessment of who you are and you start putting dudes in your life that help you with that, it's you're going to be just as successful as you were on a team.
Yeah, it's apprehensive. Oh, you gotta make the right choices. You gotta reach out to people. You gotta say, "Hey, I need help with this. You want to work together on this?" And the network. That's another thing. We don't always have everybody's contact information, and the scape is different. Of kind of
Got
you
to do
gotta
better.
you gotta be in the social media. Everybody's on social media. You were just at Shot Show, right?
Yeah.
What was every conversation there, right? With
Gosh,
meeting
most,
somebody or running into
yeah,
somebody you hadn't seen in a while.
marketing social media was always the big topic. The guys who you hadn't seen in a while would come find you. There's a buddy of mine, Eric. He came and found me. I hadn't seen Eric in a couple of years. Come to find out, like, he just survived throat cancer, beat it. And it's like, I'm such a shitbag for not knowing that and not being there for you. And he's like, no, man, it's good. Like, we're here now. Let's enjoy this now. So that's one extreme. And then there's other extremes where you run into dudes where you're like, I really didn't want to see that guy, right? Like, you weren't the best bro, and I just don't want to be around you. But then there's others who are just living their best life. And you're like, I'm so happy that you're happy. You know what I mean? Maddie Nelson, who works over at Seekins Precision, very close friend of mine, Glenn Seekins. They run that show together. Two of the most genuinely humble and amazing human beings you'll ever run into. So going over there and seeing them and the hugs and how loud it gets, it's incredible. But they're also the very same people when you're like, hey man, I don't I don't understand how to attack this problem set. So I want to grow my suppressor line here, but I don't really understand how what I'm communicating isn't effectively reaching my audience. And Maddie's like, hey man, here's why. You need to, it's not so much about selling the item as it is the lifestyle, as it is the brand. And you're like, that makes more sense. People resonate with a lifestyle more than they do individual item. So for deadline defense, like we say, run your gear, not your mouth. We are competitive shooters. We are ranchers that work on cattle ranches and horse ranches. We are not in any way claiming to be who we're not. Like we're involved in our families. And that carries the day more than my suppressor's cool. It's 5.5 inches. You know what I mean? I know. Five
That's
five and a half
impressive.
inches.
That's impressive in some places in the world. Just to let everybody info.
The having those dudes, there's a clothing company out there, Savage Tacticians, run by a guy named Kevin Ullman, who's a Marine, former Marine. Like that dude is a salt of the earth guy that will take his shirt off and give it to anybody and sit down and genuinely feel like you're being listened to, even if we're just BSing. These dudes do great stuff for the community. They do it quietly, but they still do it. And so when you see these guys, it's it's awesome to realize you're not as far away as you think you are from the old life, right? You don't want to reach out because you're scared. And all those dudes are sitting there wondering what you're doing and waiting, dying to talk to you. I think we get in our head too much about we're not this or we're not that, and you're missing the whole point. But you're still a bro.
Well, yeah, we're just normal. We're just normal people. I'm excited. I've already set the goal to be at SHOT Show 2027. My sponsor, Taylor Bosley, who owns Precision Wellness Group, we're going to go together. He's the only other. He's the only sponsor of Lesser Known Operators, the podcast, and we're probably going to keep it that way. And because I just don't really want anybody else's opinions or products really tied to the show.
Right.
We do sell supplement. We are a supplement affiliate, but no, it's not a sponsor. So, yeah, but we're going to go next year. And I'm excited to meet everybody. I didn't feel like this year I was ready to go. Also, had some other stuff to take care of with 19th Group, but going to go next year, meet everybody, and we're just normal people. I'm gonna have a big pocket full of stickers. I'll be wearing my cargo pants and be full of stickers and handing them out to people. I'm very excited, but to just go see everybody that's doing all this cool shit because
Mhm.
I see a lot of social media posts, a lot of content, and I see what people are doing right, and I see what people that stuff that doesn't work or what they do work, and then I make mine. But yeah, it's interesting. Everybody's got their own thing, their own section of the market that we are all in. You know, it's all there's firearms, there's outdoor stuff. Obviously there's military, but then there's all the stuff that goes along with that as well.
Yeah, there's everything from hunting gear, like, Rob Roberts, guy that makes custom duck hunting shotguns, phenomenal shotguns. Super awesome guy to talk to and will absolutely talk your ear off about duck hunting. Flip side of that, Anderson Silva came by. So we were at the Mitchell Defense booth. Mitchell Defense makes AR and bolt guns, super sexy rifles, and they offered up some space for our cans to go on their rifles and for us to be able to talk. And Anderson Silva came by. That has got to be the quietest, most genuinely sweet man in the entire place. Like he was, thank you guys for letting me check out your guns. Thank you for letting me check out your suppressors. Thank you for talking to me the whole night. And it's like, bro, you're Anderson Silva. You could literally beat the fuck out of anybody in this building. But he's just a genuinely good dude, right? And it makes you appreciate good human beings. There's a few years ago at SHOT Show, I met Forey Smith, who plays Lloyd on Yellowstone. The character Lloyd is who he is as an individual. That's him. Like he's as cowboy and as hard and as plain spoken as he could get. And he will come up there and you talk to him like we've developed a friendship, and I talked to him like, "Hey, how was SHOT Show?" And he's like, "I love nothing more than being here, being around real Americans that love America, that love their families, and are just here doing what good Americans should." And to watch that man be energized by the crowd and just how spectacular the shows are is awesome.
That's cool. That's cool. We're all just we're all also fans of somebody else, right?
Right.
And, like, I mean, I got it the other day. A good friend of mine sent me a message, and he goes, "Oh, you had Stu Smith on the show?" I was like, "Yeah, Stu's great." We talked about dive school and water stuff, everything I hate. And he goes, "Bro, Stu's my hero." I was like, "You wanna meet him? Let me have him call you." And I was, "Hey, can you guys," and now they're linked up, and he's got his book when he was first getting into the military and learned how to work out and swim from his things. And it's like that dude that I had on my show is just like, "Hey man, let's talk and just have a normal thing." That was a friend of mine's hero, and I linked them up. It's like, man, that's fucking cool. And but
Heroes.
we all have heroes and people that we're like fangirl over. For me, it's Gordon Ramsay. Like, I can't wait till hey,
That is my dad's hero. Like,
yeah,
call home,
uh,
talk to pops, and he's like, "Oh yeah, I'm cooking this meal from Gordon Ramsay." And that's funny you say that.
yeah. No, next level chefs on or undercut or Secret Service. So the secret
Hmm.
restaurant one is on. I got to watch that tonight. God forbid Hell's Kitchen's on, we're not watching anything else. So, but I can't wait till I'm well known enough to where I can just meet Gordon Ramsay in the wild, at some event or something like that. But also the side of that, if that happens, then I'll have a wide enough reach to where I can help people, like, directly. I can pick people up, which I can already do. I can get one person hooked up with the other person because that's what I want for this. I want to be well known so that people feel comfortable reaching out to me. Lesser known operators is the brand is gonna go way further than me, but they'll be comfortable. I'm the guy here that is the Green Beret. Like, another Green Beret will reach out to me. I will get you to the right person. I've got the person in my phone, and that's kinda we've all got this side mission. I got hurt, I went to the B team, and I became a Green Beret that could only support other Green Berets in training and logistically and managing the property book and all these other things. And, I'm not tactical. I'm not operational anymore. I can't go downrange. I can't deploy unless this all falls apart, then maybe I'll go to Ukraine and fight for $2,000 a day. Unlikely. I'm probably not going to, but maybe, But I can support. I can set up my network and my logistical support and build the things that I had when I was in, and I can be a better GB in comfy clothes than I can when I was in uniform because the
And
uniform is kind
listen,
of
dude,
stuffy.
like that's awesome. There's nothing wrong with that at all, right? People get hurt. People end up in positions they didn't necessarily want to be. But if you're making the best out of it, to me, success is being able to help other people, right? If this podcast is a success and you can help other people because of that, that's fucking awesome. If Deadline Defense is a success and we can help other people because of that, that's fucking the name of the game right there.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, you don't know. And it's always you start out, you don't know what the benefits are gonna be once you start something. I started the show just to talk to cool people, but now as, second and third effects, I know all the people I have come on, I know all their friends. I have
That's cool.
their networks, and then, it kinda spreads. One person tells 2 people, this systemic butterfly effect that goes on through things. But just being able to be a resource and be plugged back into the community because this isn't something you can find in everyday life. You can't just wander around a city and run into people like you would see in the team room or like you would meet in the team room. I could go my entire life wandering around the Midwest and rarely would I meet somebody like me, but I can go into group and I can meet a lot of people like me and I sympathize with people and similar experiences growing up. They're from all over the country, bad childhood, good childhood, but there's this drive to succeed, this to be there, to want to be the best at whatever you set out to be, and there's a
Right.
bunch of people like that. And if we can show that to people that world exists, then they'll be more likely to seek it out for themselves because in the past bygone eras, and I posted the business cards last night. I made a little post like this was a piece of content. These guys would hand out these business cards with all these funny things that they did in the Vietnam era, like alligators castrated and orgies organized and we're in the killing business and business is good. That was like your business card. This is who you were. There was no
Mm-hmm.
phone. There was no cell phone. You got your news from a newspaper. Well, now, you found out about Green Berets from like badass movie and that was it. Right.
Yeah.
Or a poster up at the library or something.
John Wayne and
And
Rambo.
you'd go, that's cool. Right. Well, now kids have access to, I hate using the word, but literally everything ever written on the subject. And if we're not providing overly useful amounts of information, they're going to go to where they have all the information because they feel safe in that. They can make a decision in that. At least that's what I see. And if we're not providing that information, then they'll go, well, I don't have enough information to make a decision. I'm going to go with the one that I can feel secure in making the right choice.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
we that's one thing we gotta do. We gotta put the things out there in a respectful and professional way. Maybe not quiet. I think a great oxymoron is making a 7-foot tab in blue that says quiet professionals and putting on top of a sign. I don't think that's very quiet. There's a better way to a
Yeah.
better
It's a
way to
good
put that.
landmarker though. No,
It's gone.
you're,
It's gone.
is it really?
A student just messaged me last week and says, "Hey, I just saw your post about the sign. We don't know where it went." And he sent me just a wooden frame. It's just a wooden frame and no sign. So I got a message out to one of the sergeant majors. I'm like, "Where's the sign going? Are they getting rid of it? Are they moving it somewhere?" And he goes, "I'll get back with you." So we're gonna find out.
Yeah. I mean, the sign's kind of a staple, but I see your point. And it's, hey man, at the end of the day, when you're on a team, be a great team guy, right? When you're, when you're off the team, be a great team guy. Whatever your new team is, be a great team guy and realize that you're gonna fuck up. Have some grace for yourself. Don't take the easy way out. If you're thinking about it, call your buddies, They're still there. They haven't changed. You changed. And that's okay. Call 'em.
Yeah, message just send a message. I I feel bad and I don't sometimes because I just get have so many people that I'm like, "Fuck, I need to send a message to so and so," and then all of a sudden it's the end of the day and I've only gotten to like 30 people that I've contacted that day. I was just seeing, "Hey, how you doing?" and things like that, and I go, "You know what? That's fine, Nick. You don't need you don't need
Right.
to be worrying about more than that. Just do whatever you can so you can still be an asset to yourself and be present in the rest of your life," which, kind of obsessed at the moment with building things. But that's what we do. We get into a project and we just pour ourselves so much
We
into
do.
it
We
that
we
it's the
obsess
only
over
thing.
our project or our mission. We are constantly the main effort in our own minds.
Yeah. But that's
That's
how we're successful too.
yeah, that's why you got selected. That's what made hell, that's what makes life worth living. If you're not the hero of your own story, what's the point in your story?
Yeah. Well, yeah, you are the only person in the story at the end of the day. It's you're the one that has to deal with the voice in your head telling you that you failed or you succeeded and all these things. Usually telling us that we failed. You did it.
And that's another misconception I feel like we've got to do better with. And I'll admit, like as a team sergeant, I was the worst. If you weren't on my team, fuck you. If you weren't doing, and I would tell dudes on their in brief, the only thing I expect from you is absolute perfection every single day. Now that I'm older and I wouldn't say wiser, but presumably have seen more, I look back like you haven't failed till you quit. You're gonna hit some bumps in the road. Met TC gets a vote and things are gonna happen, but you haven't failed till you quit. You took a hard hit, fucking learn from it, move on.
You God, even when you quit, you haven't failed, right? Because you'll probably pick it back up in a few more years.
Yeah, I wouldn't say that's quitting though, right? Like if you pivot, that's not a quit.
Yeah, but
When you quit, when you cash out,
I stopped going to the gym for, like, years, and let it all go, all gone, and I start overly just drinking and that pretty much you're in the realm of I've given up. I've given up on things, and then it's like, oh, you kinda change back into that person, that little mind
sure,
that switch goes on, and then you just pick it back up. So even when you've given up, like, you can still go back into it. If you as far down the hole as you think you've gotten, it's able to you can just make one choice and then, okay, well,
choice
let's
and turn it around.
yeah,
You
there's
can, if you are not completely satisfied and happy with your life right now, there's only one choice that has to be made to start working your way back to where you can be.
yeah, yeah, that's a tough one, though, and my wife made a good point of it the other day when I wrote something, and she's like, "Oh, you gotta take that out of there," because I had it in there, and at the end, it said, "Find your purpose," and she goes, "That's That's so disheartening to people when you tell them to find their purpose. Oh, why didn't I think of that? Yeah, you're right. It's like, of course, it's like, are you upset about something? Yeah. Well, stop being upset about it. Oh, that's that all I have to do? That's all I have to do is stop
Okay.
being upset.
So maybe it's not find your purpose, right? Maybe it's go chase your purpose.
Yeah.
Right? Whatever that looks like
Yeah.
for you as an individual. If that's if that's working out at the gym and cooking the best sea bass and what are the new damn skillets with the little octagons in them?
Hex Clan.
Yeah. That's all the rage in our house right now.
Well, that's I mean, not to give any free advertising, but that's Gordon Ramsay's hands.
Yeah, that's what we got for Christmas from my parents who are avid Gordon Ramsay fans.
Yeah. Yeah. I got him upstairs. I'm going to go cook a steak later with him. No big deal.
Nice.
And my wife got me those for Christmas. I use them every day. I mean, I eat a unhealthy amount of food, but, it's healthy for me, unhealthy for other people. No,
There you go.
you gotta work at it. It's all a process.
Right.
It's all a process, man. I mean, you gotta have a purpose getting out, and if you don't, you're gonna feel like shit, and you don't stop feeling like shit until you make your own team or join somebody else's.
Mhm.
And it sounds like you did that, but then it pivoted into deadline defense. How long was the gap from when you got out to when you got in with defense there?
So when I got out of the Army, started contracting, and I had a former commander call me. I was like, "Hey, I've got this opportunity with this guy. He's got his own pistol company." And at that point, I really wanted to go do mining in Africa and compete with China on the supply. So think about it like in your SF brain, you're like, "Hey, supply chains. We typically attack supply chains to jack up our enemy." China's biggest supply resource that they control all over the world is rare earth minerals. So my goal was I want to do this rare earth mineral thing. And I know bear with me, it'll all make sense in a minute. The guy, Keith, who owned the company, he had several companies. It was basically like, I'll help you with the financing of your mining company if you come work and fix my gun company. And yeah. And so then you start going down the road. And I was working for OA Defense was the pistol company. Start working there for a while. And as human beings, we didn't work together. And for lots of different reasons, right? I made mistakes. He made mistakes. I said things I probably shouldn't have said. He said things he probably shouldn't have said. And so I left. And same thing a lot of us do when it all kind of falls apart. You're like, hey, I'm going to go contract for 90 days, put some money in the bank. And it wasn't so much about the money as it was that's 90 days for me to clear my head and start planning what I'm going to do next. And before I left, I'd had talks with some of my buddies, like, this is what we're going to do together as a team. And so basically spent 90 days planning it all out. So when I came home in late October, I think it was late October, we were already ready to go. So from late October to January, we had everything lined up and planned out to launch deadline. And now we're here. We've
It's just
got,
recently then.
yeah. So SAMI testing was approved or done, and the USASOC crane testing. Our crane did the USASOC testing, torture testing. So we planned to make sure we had everything ready when we came to market. It wasn't a question of could we do it? Would they meet specs? It was everything's already done. Now let's go to market. Yeah, it's a good time, dude. And like I said, working with guys that our families are close. We all share the same faith and values. It's a nice adjustment to just be working with a group of people who you know are not going to stab you in the back or let you down, and then constantly working your ass off to make sure you're not the guy that lets them down.
Always a struggle,
Mhm.
but you get on a team and you're like, this is all working. That's not, everybody has that experience in group. You get on a team and you're like, oh, this is awesome. And it's going really well. And then one day it isn't. So you're always wanting to keep it going.
Right.
Now, obviously in the civilian life, there's not going to be a new command or a new team sergeant that switches out. In the civilian world, you can just keep things going a lot more easily than you can in the military, because the military will take every opportunity to fuck you or promote you out of the position that you're in. But that's all, you got is that the software? That's the software side of things, the intangibles and the business side of things. What about the hardware? What's so special about your project? You said you were chasing
So
did
we're
you say
chasing the
best gas
gas,
flow?
best
Is that
gas
flow
flow.
or okay?
Yeah. So suppressors work off of two systems. So there's gas blowback, which is you have to have some of that for the operating system of the gun to work, and then flow through where the gas just comes straight out the end. And what you'll find when you talk to guys that are still in the game is they really want flow through. And we needed to have that perfect measurement of the two. So currently our suppressors are pure titanium. So they're super light. We're working through and testing a new type of metal that would be even lighter than titanium. That has not come to market yet, and we won't know until testing is complete if we will or won't. And they're short. They're girthier, but they're short. So we always joke around the shop like girth matters. And
It's a sticker. You got to get a sticker made.
it's a t-shirt. They're already made.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah, it's suppressors are fun, right? Like, who doesn't like shooting suppressed guns? It's 2026. We're not barbarians anymore.
Yeah. Until they start coming out with yeah, well, now that everybody's coming out with the TBI and the overpressure mapping
Overpressure,
of the
yeah.
weapons that we fire. Maybe everybody needs to be shooting these things, you know,
Yeah, so
after
it's
you
all
look at
about
some of
gas
those.
management to help.
Okay. So what you got a can. So for people listening at home who might not know, you got a
Mhm.
can and then you got a bunch of secret squirrel shit inside that directs these
So,
flows, and what's it
yeah,
all
so you
doing?
got a
How's it making it
can
better?
you got a can, it has a set of baffles in there, and the baffles are what redirect the gas and make it all swirl around and quieter and reduce signature. Signature reduction is huge. It's kind of the name of the game. And when you put various holes in the can or shape a baffle, it redirects the gas. For us, we went with, because ours were shorter, we went with a thicker, girthier can, which made our baffles bigger. And we have a pretty rad engineer, like the dude's a genius, who put a notch in there that what would be backflow gas gets redirected and flows through again. So you get the best of both worlds when your gun operates. Now, some of the things that make ours different is that our baffle stack is separate from the hub. And the hub is this little piece down here that screws into the baffle stack. And I don't know why I don't have one here for this show, but for us, the hub is the serialized item. So if a customer has a baffle strike, or let's say he, you know, Private Snuffy runs over the can, we don't have to replace the whole can. We don't have to run serial numbers back and forth. We replace the baffle stack, and then it's just easier and faster, right? Like, send me the baffle stack, I'll send you a new one. It's that fast. As opposed to, well, I got to send this FFL item here and it's got to get registered there. And then they can send me a new one and it has to be re-registered and all that. In the bottom of the hub, ours come with a direct thread. So you can literally just screw it right onto the barrel. However, that direct thread system will come off and you can replace it with, it's a universal system. You can replace it with any quick detach mounts you want, as long as they run off. So everything runs off a universal system. That's for a law enforcement department that has all, let's say they all have Surefire brakes on their guns. They don't have to, but Surefire's out of stock. They don't have to go buy all new QDs and brakes. They can use what they have. They'll fit on our cans and work. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's you kind of, everything we do, we approach it from what would make life easier for the end user. And then about the only argument we've had internally is with the engineer. So our cans are high end, but we're keeping the price tag as low as we can. So they're right around $900. And that way more people can afford to use them. You're not having to go, you're getting a $1,500 quality can, but at $900. And I think that also is easier for the end user to accept.
People love easy to use and they love a good price point. I have no idea if that's a good price point or not, because people will start coming on and talking about this trigger and that. And I go, hey, man, I don't know. I don't know what you're saying. I have no idea. I was never a shooter. I'm never going to be a shooter. It's not going to happen. We get in the gym and we can talk about, let's work. I'm going to work this month. You want to get bigger? You want to get stronger? We'll get in with those sorts of things.
No,
It's everybody's thing, but
it's super easy, man. It's right. Like our cans are designed by shooters. The company is run by shooters, guys that actually run their gear, and not a bunch of suits in a boardroom that are making financial decisions. We're making what makes sense, not what is going to make the most money.
right. I gotta, I gotta get you some pages for some of my boys. You got a message to all of our brothers that own gun shops and things like that after this.
That's right.
So
Yeah,
we got
it's www.deadline-defense.com. Pop on there, shoot us a message, and you can always write, "Hey, I want to talk to Paul," and I'll be more than happy to help every individual customer, right?
Well, I gotta link you up with all the GBs that have shops and things like that. So after, but
Absolutely.
I just want everybody to know everybody else. It's as you said, it helps all of us to just be aware because there's so many people doing so much cool shit.
There really are.
It is. And we forget that 'cause I'm in here in Wisconsin. There's nobody. Okay, I don't want to say nobody. There's some people doing some cool, some Green Berets here doing some cool shit, but there's not very fucking many of us. There's very few. And as the closer, when down by you in North Carolina, you can't throw a rock in any direction and not hit 20 GBs.
Yeah, I mean, it's like there's some good and bad to living here, right? Like it's retired, like, and we have a cattle ranch. We have business here. We're not going anywhere. But I always tell dudes, especially like young guys, Q core student or guys brand new to a team, like, hey man, when you're around here, don't run your mouth because no matter how badass you are, the next dude over is likely more badass. Right? Like it's just the joy of living here. There's always somebody tougher and cooler who has done more in this town. I don't care who you are.
There's civilians at the gas station that have got 12 oak leaf clusters on their Pineland deployment ribbon on their
Well,
uniform.
yeah.
What's the name of your cattle ranch?
A Carthage Cattle Company. We're here in Carthage, North Carolina, and it's myself, my wife, and I've got a 13-year-old and 6-year-old boy that love to help me run it. And then we also are partners in a mobile butcher shop called Bovet's Butchery. So we sell quarter and half cows and help ranchers sell their pigs. Like, everybody's got to eat, man. Everybody's got to eat.
I'm way ahead of you. I buy cows either by the half or the full, depending on the size, and I eat the whole
As you
thing, and
should.
then I go get another one.
Heck yeah.
I'll let you in on a secret. It's becoming a little more well known, and my listeners have heard me say this quite a few times. The turnaround for my health was I only eat cows named Carl. So I don't know. It's so I go to the butcher shop and the lady over there, I'll give her a call and I'll say, "Hey, it's Nick. I need to get another half." And she goes, "Oh, we just had one come in." I go, "Is his name Carl?" And she'll pause and she'll go, "Yes, his name is Carl." And I go, "Oh, great, I'll take it."
Great. I'll take it.
My buddy down in Oklahoma, Turkey Knob Cattle Ranch. He's all his cows are now named Carl. It's sweeping the nation and I'm hoping, but I think they're just for some reason healthier. It's a little joke of mine. I got tired of people asking me how I got so big, so I would give them like a fake fitness tip
Yeah.
of like I only eat cows named Carl. So, but yeah, no, I eat 2 to 3 pounds of beef a day, man. That's how I get
Heck
my
yeah.
protein, and it's a lot healthier than I think all this other shit. I think
Oh,
I'm
it's
pretty
100%
sure.
healthier. It's cleaner and it's healthier, dude. And it's the way to do it. Matter of fact, it is lunchtime here. I don't know what it is there, but
Oh, it's 11:38. Yeah, I'll wrap us. Oh, I'm gonna wrap us up here. But no, it's awesome, man. You got out and have joined a couple different teams and you sound like you're happy and you're making the best of it.
I'm doing, um, I'm happy. I can certainly say I'm happy. I'm learning every day. I'm not without my faults, certainly not without them, but every day's a chance to help somebody else.
Yeah. All right. So, you've got one I usually wrap up with. So you've got Deadline Defense, and you've got your cattle company, and you got your mobile butcher shop, and then the network as well, and everything. So that's your thing. That's your team. That's your projects moving forward. How are you going to move forward into the future and benefit our community in a positive way?
I think what I'm looking for the community is one, getting the suppressor company more involved with and helping raise, veterans projects, raise awareness, raise funds as necessary. And then same with cattle, right? Like we got plenty of land out here, but more importantly, we've got cattle where we can teach guys how do you make clean meat? How do you butcher an animal to feed your family? Um, I'm a big believer the day is coming that electronics will be gone and you and your family will survive or not survive based off of what you physically as a man are able to do to provide for them.
I'm going to play the numbers game on that. I'll be dead, and most likely everyone I know will be dead also. So I'm not going to have to worry about any of that. If any of those predictions are true, that 90% of the population will be die off within a few months or be killed. So
But Twinkies will still exist.
they will for a while. A lot of food that expires is going to keep living on long after its expiration date. I don't trust expiration dates. I go to the smell test, or if I get violently ill after I eat it, then I know I made a bad
That's a good
decision.
indicator. Yeah.
All right. Well, we didn't really touch on the service or anything, but you were a ranger in the Second
I was.
Battalion, Fort Lewis, 75th
Mhm.
Ranger Regiment. So I got to ask all rangers, what makes rangers better than everybody else?
Everything. Yeah. Every the entire one, the Ranger Creed, Rogers rules for rangering. Rangers are very particular in what is right and what is wrong. And I think because there is only one standard in Ranger Regiment, and that is the Ranger Standard, that is what makes that unit better than the other units.
I haven't gotten everything as an answer yet. That's pretty good. I might
Everything.
release. I
It's
might.
the same thing. Like what makes Seventh Group the best group in the SF Regiment? Literally everything. The Red Empire
You
is
guys got a.
everything.
Oh, you guys got that cool saying though. Like, what is it? Don't see. What is it? Fuck. What is it?
Donde se, cuando se, lo que se. But the better one is that the sun never sets on the Red Empire.
Oh, okay. I haven't heard that one yet. That didn't pop up on my searches. But when I was making the reel about the seventh group team in Afghanistan with the Call Me Maybe, the refreshing that the other
Yeah.
night, that was, I was like, that's a pretty good saying. Whenever, wherever, however, whatever it is. But I think that's pretty good. So, all right, brother. I appreciate you coming on. How can everybody find you on the socials or the internet if they so choose?
You find us Instagram. You can find Deadline_defense or Bovet's Butchery. And on the websites, it's www.deadline-defense.com. Come get your suppressors, man, and help us get to a point where we can help the Special Forces Regiment.
That's always the fucking goal, right? Just one
Absolutely.
step at a time. So again, I appreciate you coming on, brother. You got anything for me?
That's it, man. Thank you. Thank you for your time. I
Absolutely.
appreciate it.
No, absolutely. Bye, everybody.